Welcome to your place over the rainbow. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene, where empowered by love, we transform ourselves and serve our world. My name is Jennifer Hackett, and I am proud to serve as your ministerial intern this year. My pronouns are she and her. With me today is the lead minister of this church, the Reverend Lois Van Leer, board president Daniel Blades, worship associate Linda Krenicki, collaborative pianist Susanne Giordano, and behind the scenes working tech is Kat Johnson. We also have a whole lot of new members, including Rod Gilliland, Kim Neese, Jennifer Tucker, Leah Salerno, Joanna Alexander, Aidan Widmer, Morgan Morningstar, Barbara Sammons, Jean Gerda, Michael, Sylvia, and Steve Young, Carol Carver, Abby Roden, and Robin Cochran.
Yes.
We'd also like to acknowledge the members who joined at various points throughout the past year. Janet Schlageter, Fred and Linda Schultz, John and Nita White, and Carrie McGranahan. Welcome to all of you.
Our welcome message today is an excerpt from Rachel Rott's Welcome Home. Welcome, you questioners, seekers of truth with a capital T, pilgrims longing for sanctuary, travelers needing harbor from the storm. Welcome, those who are holding on by a thread, determined breakers of the chains of loneliness and isolation. You pushed through your fear because something told you that you deserve to belong. Welcome home. Welcome, those who braid ropes again and again. You've been there for our siblings who were just hanging on. You gave them a hand into community and told them they could rest here. Welcome, you who seek spiritual and religious community for your children and grandchildren. You entrust your young people here, and we as a community commit to nurture and respect them. Welcome, children and youth. You give us the gift of your wisdom, your joy, your curiosity, and your trust that we will hold it all safe. Welcome. Welcome home.
Welcome to all of you. A few announcements this morning. On this Monday, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., this congregation will be part of a nationwide common read. The UUA book for the year is Breathe by Imani Perry, and all are welcome to join this one-night book discussion. You can find the link in the Weekly Connection newsletter. Tuesday at 6 p.m. holds the All Comers Craft Circle. If you are feeling crafty lately and not sure where to take that energy, bring it to this group. Welcome to all of you who may be visiting us today for the first time. We invite you to fill out the visitor form so we can get to know you and you can get to become a further part of our community. The survey, the link is in the chat. At this time, I'd like to introduce our board chair, Daniel Blades.
Good morning, UUCE. I'm Daniel Blades. He, him, I am the president of your board of trustees. I have a few announcements this morning. The first one is a timeline. As we know, we have a lot of change going on, but believe it or not, we understand and we are on top of this. So here is the timeline. Don't worry if you don't get it all right now. We are making you a hard copy and you will be receiving that. On June 13th, Jennifer will be completing her ministerial internship. June 20th, Rev Lowe will complete her ministry with us. Between June 21st and June 23rd, Jennifer will be covering emergency pastoral care. June 24th, Rev. Jen will be with us and will be covering emergency pastoral care June 24th through July 31st. On August 1st, Rev. Jen will begin her ministry with us then. And then on August 16th, Jennifer will be back with us again as she begins her ministry with us as Minister of Pastoral Care and Adult Faith Formation. Again, don't worry if you didn't get all that. We will be sending you the list. This Thursday will be the first of 2 town hall meetings on the 8th principle. The board voted in the 8th principle in September, and now it's the congregation's turn. We'll be voting to amend the bylaws to include this principle at our meetings on June 13th. So come and learn all about it at one of our town hall meetings. The link for the meeting will be put into chat, and you can also find it in the weekly connections.
The chalice lighting this morning is by Carter Hayward, who was one of the 11 irregularly ordained Episcopal women in 1974. She writes, "We are not automatic lovers of self, others, world, or God. Love does not just happen. We are not love machines, puppets on the strings of a deity called love. Love is a choice, not simply or necessarily a rational choice, but rather a willingness to be present to others without pretense or guile. Love is a conversion to humanity, a willingness to participate with others in the healing of a broken world and broken lives. Love is the choice to experience life as a member of the human family, a partner in the dance of life, rather than as an alien in the world or as a deity above the world, aloof and apart from human flesh."
Come to worship with us today. Invite all of yourselves in and rejoice with us in our new members and in all of our faithful community. Please join us in singing hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
This morning, we are welcoming in person 15 new members. And to those of you who are joining us today as new members, know that today you freely choose to become a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. We welcome you to join us in community as we each search for truth, meaning, and what is of ultimate value.
Membership means that we are generous with our time, our gifts and talents, and our resources to this congregation. In community, we do and accomplish what we could not do alone. Today, you who choose membership at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene are covenanting with others for whom this is a religious and spiritual home.
May this be your religious and spiritual home, and may you be woven into the intricate fabric that is our life together. Here, you will be cared for, and you will be asked to care for others. We welcome your presence among us and ask that you join us in this life and this mission of this church.
We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene, welcome you into this congregation. We strive to create and sustain a safe and sacred sanctuary when we come together in mind, body, and spirit. Here, we share life's transitions, celebrating our joys and mourning our losses, as we encourage each other to explore and grow. We deepen our bonds by reaching out, affirming, forgiving, repairing, and sustaining relationships. We nurture one another and help to heal the world as we work for justice and peace.
I will bring my talents and energy to help further nurture and sustain this congregation's health and vitality, as well as its presence and its voice in the larger community. I wish to be a full member of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. I understand the responsibilities, opportunities, and rights that membership brings.
All members, join me at home in reciting our pledge to the new members. The words are being dropped into the chat now. As members of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene, we covenant to live our lives empowered by love, be willing to be transformed by our faith, and to serve our world.
May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
Our reading today is from Connections Are Made Slowly, from the Seven of Pentacles by Marge Piercy. Connections are made slowly. Sometimes they grow underground.
You cannot tell always by looking what is happening. More than half the tree is spread out in the soil under your feet.
Penetrate quietly as the earthworm that blows no trumpet.
Fight persistently as the creeper that brings down the tree.
Spread the squash plant that overruns the garden.
Gnaw in the dark and use the sun to make sugar.
Weave real connections. Create real nodes. Build real houses.
Live a life you can endure. Make love that is loving.
Keep tangling and interweaving and taking more in. Thicket and bramble wilderness to the outside, but to us is interconnected with rabbit runs and burrows and layers.
Live as if you liked yourself, and it may happen.
Reach out. Keep reaching out. Keep bringing in.
This is how we're going to live for a long time. Not always. For every gardener knows that after the digging, after the planting, after the long season of tending and growth, the harvest comes. Groucho Marx famously said, "I refuse to join any club that would have me as a member." And many Unitarian Universalists proudly announce that they will never join a church, though they are as active as some of the folks who are already members, perhaps more so. They show up, they give up their time and their talent. In essence, they refuse to join a church that would have them as a member. Others are clear that they just don't join anything. And still others say, well, it costs the church money because the UUA, the parent organization, charges each congregation a fee based on how many members they have. Well, the UUA switched all of that recently. And in fact, each congregation pays a percentage of its total budget to support the work of the Unitarian Universalist Association. Some folks shy away from membership or joining because they fear commitment, being tied down, or maybe they're going to have to show up every Sunday now, or any type of commitment because they're afraid of what will be asked of them, of what obligations will be laid upon them. On the surface level, the only difference between becoming a member and not becoming a member of a UU congregation is that if you're a member, you get to vote on the budget and other congregational matters, like a new minister, which is different than weighing in and sharing your opinion. You also get a subscription to our national magazine, the UU World, which used to be a monthly publication, but is now only down to twice a year. So why would you become a member? Choosing to join a church is a commitment, but even more so, it's the proverbial casting of one's lot with others because of who they are and in spite of who they are. Membership says, these are my people, and I am theirs. It isn't perfect. It may not even be perfect for me all of the time, but I am choosing something more than perfection. I am choosing something larger than myself. I am choosing community and connection. I am choosing to enter into the circle of the chalice that is large enough, it's wide enough, it's deep enough to hold a plurality of persons and beliefs, to hold the spectrum of human pain and suffering, as well as joy and celebration. Here in this place, I can bring my whole self without shame or apology. It says, I'm not passing through or tarrying a while, but fully here. Membership says yes. It says, I am willing. When you choose to become a member of the UUCE, you're saying, I will show up. I will take responsibility for my own spiritual and religious journey. I will be cared for and I will care for others. I will contribute financially, whatever I am able to contribute, as a way to say that this is my community, that it has need of me and I of it. And I will allow myself to be held by love, which empowers, transforms, and saves our world. Many of today's new members found our congregation during the pandemic. And my hat is off to all of them for not only finding us, but for letting yourselves engage with our community through the virtual medium. Some of you may need to remain engaged only online, no problem. But what I hope for you all is that when UUCE is able to return to in-person worship and gatherings, that you'll be swept up into a deeper way of belonging. That which was a taste becomes a full, real meal deal. Too often, when any of us finds what we've been looking for, we consider it precious and we want to seal it off from the rest of the world to keep it just for us. But church doesn't work that way. It is to be a place of continuous invitation, welcome, hospitality, and inclusion. So rather than closing the door behind you as you come in, hold it open for those who are coming behind you, for they too have been looking for community and connection, a place to call theirs. There's a reading that's in the back of our gray hymnal that I want to share with you. If here you have freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may become true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Welcome and know that the best is yet to come.
The story of how I came to the Unitarian Universalist Church goes back to 1981 in Fresno, California. I was going through a divorce at the time. I was pretty lost. I think I only went there maybe 3 times, but what I remember most was the authenticity of the people. There was a huge community garden too, bordered with great big sunflowers. And I just remember thinking that people there had a very practical view about how to help each other and how to get along. And here I am years later in Oregon. And about 3 years ago, I had friends invite me to this congregation. And again, I think I felt a feeling of people being authentic, that I could be my authentic self and make some contributions and work with other people who are willing to offer their authentic selves to make the world a better place. I'm really happy to have found the congregation. I feel kind of privileged that here I am making this presentation, but I look forward to becoming a full-fledged member and hope to meet more of you people in the flesh as we progress. And again, I'm just really happy to be here, and membership means a lot to me. So thank you very much.
Greetings, fellow UUs. Thanks for inviting me into your fold. I am delighted to be a member. I came to be a member via the choir after a long period of unchurchness or church by nature. I love nature, I love singing and gardening, and I'm so delighted to be in this community. Thanks again for having me.
I had the great fortune to meet several of our new members when ministerial intern Jennifer and I facilitated Faith Forward Inquirers, followed by Faith Forward Beyond Inquirers. Over those Monday night Zoom meetings, we came to know these inquirers a little bit better each week. It wasn't long until people were sharing more intimately as we realized how much we had that connected us. For instance, 2 people had their Jewish faith in common. Both had lived on a kibbutz in Israel, and that's just the beginning of their shared experience. It was a true joy to answer their thoughtful questions and to witness their growing understanding of Unitarian Universalism. And truth be told, my own understanding became clearer as I endeavored to provide solid information. For example, we heard a concise, clear explanation of what it means to be a covenantal faith, a concept that's foundational to Unitarian Universalism. Covenantal means we agree to live and show up in the world in a way that reflects and demonstrates our values. This is very different from a creedal faith that says we all believe in the exact same thing. Here's to being part of a faith that accepts us all and which helps us to grow into our best selves. I'm so happy to welcome all our new members. Welcome home. May you always find connection and community here.
Thank you, Linda, and to Jennifer and Joanna and Revlo. I am your final reflection today. And I wanted to tell you, I recently watched a TED Talk by a Nigerian author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The talk was entitled "The Danger of the Single Story." In this talk, she says, if you show a people as only one thing over and over again, that is what they become. I tell you today, new congregants, you will not be asked to be just one thing when you are here. The richness and diversity of backgrounds and beliefs among us are like a tapestry weaving us together. You will be asked to remember not to put others in these boxes as just one thing, for we are all more than just one thing. We are not just a skunk or just a tiny elephant feeling excluded for being categorized as such. No one is just a Republican or just Black or just a Unitarian Universalist. You in this covenant may be who you are, and your presence makes us all better, just as our presence will make you better in the end too. In this year's UUA's Common Read book, Breathe, which we happen to be discussing tomorrow, you are all welcome, author Imani Perry writes a beautiful letter to her two Black American sons. In it, she offers us a definition of grace. She says that grace is the good thing that is in you, regardless of what happens. You carry this down through the generations, same as the epigenetic trauma of a violent slave master society. But grace is the bigger part. It is what made the ancestors hold on so that we could become. New members, you have shown remarkable grace on your spiritual journey to us. Sometimes you had to hold on so that you could become. And none of us here are fully actualized. We're not all the way become just yet. To this whole assembled congregation, there are many things that make us proud to be UUs. Our justice work, our intentional work to be welcoming to newcomers, our commitment to being a covenanted and covenantal community. It is also important that we remember our Unitarian Universalist faith is grounded in the understanding that revelation is not sealed. Change is a faithful, holy constant. We are now changed as a community for these new members. They have new insights, new talents, new hopes, and new ideas. Let us lovingly welcome them into our fold. We embrace this change that brings us beautiful you. You are the newest good thing that is a part of us. You are the embodiment of grace. Welcome. Please join us in singing hymn number 1028, The Fire of Commitment, verses 1 and 2.
As we travel the weeks of our lives, things happen. The unexpected, the welcome, the unexplained, the difficult, the joyful. And sometimes we need to speak of them. And as we gather week after week, we create a place and a space for those things to be shared, for the range of our experiences, and we hold them in the chalice of community. So if you feel so moved, please enter the joys and sorrows of your lives in the chat. Today, there is much joy for what a year and a half ago would have been the simplest of things, the ability to gather with one another, to share a meal, to talk, to be together in person, to see one another's faces beneath the masks. We celebrate Sue Craig's birthday. And we fear a little bit with Brian, who is worrying about a low-grade fever. We are so joyful for the music that Susanne offers, not only this morning, but every morning, for the reflections offered by our new members, from Linda and from Jennifer, for those who seem to be released, for grandchildren about to come. Yet again, for music, and for the fact that strawberries for some are already here and about to come, for peas that are ready to pop but aren't quite here, but for rhubarb plants and pie, for book clubs that got to meet in person, for the auction dinner from this congregation, for people who were vaccinated and got to be together. And I have a plea for all of you in the congregation to be patient with us as we figure out a way over these coming months for us to return incrementally to UUCE in a way that is safest for all of our members and friends, for those who may not be able to be vaccinated, for the children, for all of us. I beg you to be patient. Gratitude for all of you in this community, for the gifts that you offer one another, for the birthdays, for all the celebrations of our lives. For this, we are indeed grateful. May it be so. Amen.
Please join us now in singing our closing song, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
There is in this place the possibility of healing, of repair, of making things right within ourselves, between us, and with the wider world. There is in this place possibility. Welcome home. So be it. Blessed be. Amen.